Hi Taurus, welcome to your love reading for July 2019. This is Elizabeth from channelguidance.com. I've already shuffled the decks for you and you did have one jumping card. The card that jumped for you right away is the Five of Coins. So the Five of Coins is a card of emotional poverty. This could be that you're suffering because maybe there's a lot of misunderstandings with your partner. But sometimes this card also represents that you're feeling emotionally shut out. You might also be feeling abandoned or lonely. This is just a jumping card, so let's put it back in there. We'll see if it comes up again. And let's start with this deck and get you 9 cards. This is a love reading for the sign of Taurus for July 2019. The first card you have, Taurus, is the Five of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Taurus for July. 10 of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Taurus for July. Temperance. Love reading for the sign of Taurus for July. 4 of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Taurus for July. 4 of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Taurus for July. 7 of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Taurus for July. Queen of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Taurus for July. A Hierophant. Love reading for the sign of Taurus for July. And the Queen of Swords. What's the most important thing that Taurus needs to hear about their love life for July 2019? The message that you have, Taurus, is strength. So this is telling you to be brave because you do have some difficult energies in here. Not too many, but you did start with the Five of Swords and you also had the Five of Pentacles. This is telling you to watch your ego. Don't let your ego get the best of you. This card usually means that you have to hold back a little bit. Maybe you're feeling very emotional, very angry, frustrated. Hold back. This can also represent the sign of Leo. So if you have a partner or an ex who's a Leo, this represents their energy. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what you have here. And if you'd like to get a private reading with me, just go to my website, channelguidance.com. I'll put a link down below. Okay, so you have the Five of Swords, the 10 of Swords, and Temperance. So, I mean, to me, the Five of Swords, this is a red flag energy, and it usually means that you have to be careful. You have to pay attention to what is happening around you in the month of July. This can represent one of two things. It can represent a decision. So if you're in the middle of making a decision of maybe moving on, because you have that right here, maybe you're thinking of leaving a relationship, you may want to rethink that, especially with Temperance there, because the Five of Swords can represent a very unwise decision that will come back to haunt you. And for many of you, it can be moving on, because the 10 of Swords is a card that it just represents that you've been hurt long enough, you've been down, you've been suffering. Remember, you did have the Five of Pentacles jump for you. You feel emotionally shut out by somebody. Some of you could be considering moving on, but you also have Temperance, which is telling you don't jump the gun. Be patient. For some of you, it could be maybe that you're waiting for someone to come around. Temperance also does represent patience, but again, it also means don't let your ego get the best of you. So Temperance could be saying that maybe, you need to wait a little bit longer. You could make a very unwise decision by jumping the gun, especially if you just had an argument with someone and you feel like it's over, I'm moving on. If it has not been that long, you may want to rethink that. But for others where maybe somebody's been stringing you along for months, for years, it could be that you finally feel with the 10 of Swords that enough is enough, it's time to move on. Temperance can definitely also represent healing. It could be that you're healing from a relationship, maybe from an ex where something very painful happened. Sometimes the 10 of Swords means that you've been betrayed, stabbed in the back, lied to. This can also represent sabotage. Maybe you feel that an ex sabotaged your relationship, or maybe a marriage was sabotaged. But again, with Temperance here, this represents healing. It can also represent the sign of Sagittarius. It can be your ex, it can be your partner. Now in the second row, you have the Four of Cups, the Four of Swords, and the Seven of Wands. So I feel like the sign of Taurus is not happy about something. You have the Four of Cups, which means that you're feeling like not all is well in your love life. You feel like something is missing. You feel as if you deserve better. You're wondering what else is out there for you. Maybe you're just not happy with the way a relationship is going. The Four of Swords, ironically, the Four of Swords also does represent healing, just like Temperance. But also, you have quite a few Swords cards in this spread. Well, you have the Five of Swords, you have the 10 of Swords, and you have the Four of Swords. Even just one Swords card is usually really difficult, and you have 3 here. So for some of you, it can be healing. Maybe you're healing a relationship where you were betrayed, you were hurt very deeply. Because I see you being unhappy here, and this ties in with that Five of Pentacles that jumped for you, where it shows that you are suffering. Something is really hitting you emotionally, but you also have to really speak up for yourself with the Seven of Wands. This means that you can't let somebody treat you as their doormat. You have to really speak your truth. You have to set boundaries. For some of, I feel like especially for those of you who are married, there can be something going on where someone's taking advantage of you. That is the energy of the Seven of Wands. You have to really kind of say the buck stops here. Enough is enough. This is fiery energy. You have to really speak what's on your mind, because I see the sign of Taurus not being happy here, and it's time for you to heal. But also the Four of Swords means that you have a lot on your mind right now, and it's time for you to figure out maybe what you want. For some of you, it could be that it's time to move on from something painful that happened, but for others, it could be that maybe you want to move on from a relationship. Again, when making big decisions, you want to be careful, because Temperance is saying don't jump the gun. Don't do anything extreme without really, really thinking about it very carefully. Now down here, you have two people. You have a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, male or female, sun, moon, or rising. It can represent you also if you have a moon or rising and a water sign. You have the Queen of Swords, which is an air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Could also be you if you have a moon or rising in air sign, or these could be your partners, your exes, even new people coming into your life. You have a really strong kind of spiritual bond here. I feel like one of these can represent you. Sometimes the King and the Queen of Cups, they also represent people who are very much in touch with their emotions or intuition. The King and the Queen of Swords represent people who are very much in their head, who really like to analyze, nitpick at things mentally. One of these is you, and there's a very kind of strong spiritual bond with someone. This is a card of kindred spirits, soulmates. It can even represent a marriage. So again, there is unhappiness here. Also notice you have two fours. They're lined up there. The fours do represent stability and a firm foundation. So it could be that in the month of July, this is a perfect time for you to maybe create, a strong foundation for a relationship, or kind of build up the foundation of your marriage. Also, the Hierophant does represent your energy. Represents the sign of Taurus. So again, it could be with a water sign. For others, it could be with an air sign. Okay, let me get a few more. What other messages are there for the sign of Taurus for July 2019? Four of Wands. So we just added another four. Four of Cups, Four of Swords, Four of Wands. This is all about stability and a firm foundation. What other messages are there for Taurus for July 2019? Nine of Wands. What other messages are there for Taurus for July 2019? Knight of Cups. So here, this can definitely represent a marriage. And again, with so many fours, I feel like July would be the perfect time to build on the foundation of that marriage, especially if you feel like it doesn't have a firm foundation. You can definitely do that in the month of July. For others, this can be a commitment. The Four of Wands can be just a long-term relationship, maybe even a live-in relationship. There's definitely fear here, whether it's a marriage or a relationship headed towards commitment or marriage. The Nine of Wands means that someone is feeling downright paranoid. You're afraid. The Nine of Wands, it can either be you. It's hard to say in a general reading whether it's you or it's your partner. Someone is feeling very fearful here of really letting their guard down. Maybe you're afraid that this marriage won't happen, or this relationship won't move to, something more exclusive or something more committed. You're afraid to let your guard down. But I do see movement here. Knight of Cups, it means that there will be progress in a relationship. There would be positive movement for those who are single, and we are going to do a single spread. This can be that somebody new is coming into your life to romance you. This could even be something that leads to marriage or a very committed relationship. Okay, so let me get some cards from the confirmation deck. Let's move this way. Let's get a few cards. What other messages are there for the sign of Taurus for July? You have the Queen of Wands. What other messages are there for the sign of Taurus for July? You have the Eight of Wands. What other messages are there for the sign of Taurus for July? And you have the Ace of Pentacles. What's the most important thing that Taurus needs to hear about their love life for July 2019? The Ace of Cups. So there can be a new beginning, regardless of, what's going on with the Five of Swords and the Ten of Swords, and maybe somebody feeling very paranoid about their relationship right now. You do have this message that you can start over. So, this can definitely be with an ex. This is a kind of rekindling your relationship, or it can be a new person coming into your life, or just a new beginning in an existing relationship. Keep in mind the other main energy was the Strength card, telling you to be patient, be brave, don't let your ego get the best of you. Okay, let's look at these three right here. Now you have another court card. So there's quite a few people here. You have a fire sign, you have a water sign, an air sign. This would be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, male or female, sun, moon, or rising. It can even represent you if you have a moon or rising in a fire sign. It can be a partner, an ex, or somebody new coming into your life. Either way, there's a new beginning around this person. This is a very unexpected new beginning. It could be that maybe you thought the relationship was over and it's not, or you didn't think you're going to be meeting somebody new, but you do. This can definitely be someone that you've been waiting for, because you have the 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands always means that you've been waiting for some time for anything to happen around this person. You've been waiting very patiently, and with this energy, you've almost kind of given up hope, or you had maybe even forgotten about it. You've just given up hope. But this does represent a lot of excitement and change coming in around a fire sign where there is a very unexpected new beginning. So I feel like it's going to be a good month for you. For those of you where you're unhappy in a current relationship, there's healing here, and there's healing. And there's positive movement around your relationship or your marriage. For those who are married, I feel like there will be stability here, because you have number 4s. Actually, 3. 4 of Cups, 4 of Swords, 4 of Wands. You can definitely rebuild the foundation of your relationship or your marriage if you're really struggling. I feel like you really need to figure out what you're going to do here with the 4 of Swords. You have a lot on your mind. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the X spread using this deck right here. I've already shuffled it, so let me get these out of the way. And as always, you can use the X spread for any kind of, past relationship or even an interest. Maybe you just dated someone a few times and you want to know if you're going to hear from them again. It does not have to be something that was committed or long-term. Okay, show me the energies around Taurus and their ex for July 2019. 10 of Pentacles. Taurus and their ex for July. The Lovers. Taurus and their ex for July. The Devil. Taurus and their ex for July. The Hangman. Taurus and their ex for July. The 9 of Cups. Taurus and their ex for July. 9 of Swords. Interesting. Okay, let's stop here. And let's start at the top. You have the 10 of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Devil. So, I definitely see that you still have a connection with your ex. The 10 of Pentacles represents commitment. It represents a relationship. It could even be, a relationship that is headed towards something more committed, like marriage. This is a marriage card. Then you have the Lovers. This is a very significant relationship with the Lovers. But to me, the Lovers also does represent that this is a relationship you want very much. So for those of you who are watching because you have an ex you want to reunite with, this shows that you don't plan on giving up on this person. You don't want to give up. But you do have something there. You have the Devil, which, can definitely be fear, because you have the 9 of Wands in the first spread. And the 9 of Wands means that someone's holding back from you. And this represents not just holding back, but it represents the energy of somebody being downright paranoid. Maybe paranoid as far as letting their guard down, telling you how they feel. Here it is right here. This was the card you had in the first spread. This represents someone who is afraid, paranoid, and it's just putting up a bunch of walls and defenses because they're afraid. So this can definitely be fear around your ex. Maybe even you're afraid of, what would happen if you let him back in your life, because you also have the 9 of Swords lined up with the Devil. And this is the ultimate card of fear and worry. This is, the nightmare card. You're imagining the worst. There is a connection there with your ex. But there's also possibly a lot of negativity. If the relationship ended really badly, especially if there was cheating or somebody felt really betrayed, it could be that, this needs to be healed, because you did have 2 healing energies in the first spread. You had Temperance and the 4 of Swords. Something needs to be healed. But this can definitely be fear with the 9 of Wands coming up and the 9 of Swords. This is someone that you want very much. You're very much still connected to them. Now down here, keep in mind you have some positive cards and then some challenging cards right here. You have the Hangman, which means that you want your ex back very much, and I do see that there's still a connection there, but this is on hold. There's stuck energy around you guys. This is being in limbo, and there's no moving forward right now, probably because of this. There's fear. So this is a general reading, so you have to ask yourself, what is this? Like, who is afraid of what? Are you afraid of trusting them? Are they afraid of trusting you? You do have the 9 of Cups in the middle of all this. So the 9 of Cups means that, your wishes as far as your ex coming back, they are valid. So it's not just you kind of imagining or, wishful thinking. This means, yes, your wish can come true to get this person back. You're not just imagining this. It's not just in your head, but there is some strong fear here, confusion even with the devil. Or if there was something really negative that happened, it could be that needs to be worked out, because for some reason I just feel like you and your ex reuniting, it's in limbo right now. It could be in limbo because someone's afraid, but it can also be because of something that happened. But I feel like, with the Lovers, to me this always just means that somebody wants this relationship very much, even if they have to wait, even if there was something painful that happened. Like, you feel like this is the one for you. Let me get a few more. Let's see what else comes up. What other messages are there for Taurus about their ex for July? Yeah, here we go again. This is a repeat card from the first spread, which means there's a lot of thinking that's going on right now. Somebody really needs to figure out, what they want. Because things are on hold right now with you and your ex. Yes, you want this relationship very much, but there's fear here and things are stuck. It could be healing, but it can also be that you have a lot on your mind and you need to figure this out. It could be you or your ex. What other messages are there for Taurus about their ex for July? This is progress. There's progress being made with your ex, even if you don't think so, because this usually represents slow progress. So right now you may not be physically seeing anything. You may not be talking to them. There's slow progress because maybe there's healing that needs to happen, or they really need to figure out, what they want, or they really need to really see the truth of how they still feel about you. What other messages are there for Taurus about their ex for July? Death. So death means that there will be a huge change in the relationship with this person. This can definitely be a new beginning. It represents an ending, a new beginning, huge transformation. So I feel like the sign of Taurus you have every reason to be hopeful about your ex with the cards that I see here. Especially with this one right in the middle. Your wishes can be granted as far as a reunion with your ex. Also, the main energy from the first spread, remember, it was the Ace of Cups. This is a new beginning for you. It can definitely be, a new beginning with your ex. But you're also being told by the other main energy to be patient. Don't let your fears, your ego here get in the way. So if you're angry, this is saying don't lash out at them. Don't get angry. Don't get frustrated. I still see the connection between you here. It's not over. It's on hold. That's what I see here. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the single spread using this deck right here. I've already shuffled it, so let me get these out of the way. And if you're kind of in between whether, am I single, but I'd like my ex back, and maybe you just want to know, is there someone else, or could I meet somebody else, then this is definitely the spread for you. Can the sign of Taurus meet a new partner in the month of July? Ace of Swords. Can the sign of Taurus meet a new partner in the month of July? Ten of Wands. Can the sign of Taurus meet a new partner in the month of July? Knight of Pentacles. Can the sign of Taurus meet a new partner in the month of July? Star. Can the sign of Taurus meet a new partner in the month of July? Seven of Pentacles. Can the sign of Taurus meet a new partner in the month of July? Three of Wands. Okay, so let's stop here. Let's see what this means for you. Ace of Swords, Ten of Wands, and Knight of Pentacles. So it's almost like the cards are telling you if you're wanting to meet somebody new, if you want to reconnect, you want to meet a new partner, you want a new relationship, you may have to change the way that you're thinking, because the Ace of Swords usually means that maybe you've been thinking in a negative way. Maybe there is some burden here around you with the Ten of Wands. This could be a burden from a past relationship, a past marriage. Maybe you're just tired. Sometimes the Ten of Wands means that maybe you're just tired of looking. Maybe you've been meeting all the wrong people. The Ace of Swords is saying you need a new perspective. So maybe you need to kind of get all those negative experiences out of your head. The Ace of Swords means that you need a clear head. Basically, you need a clear head. You need a new perspective. You need maybe even a completely different, a change of mind. Maybe you feel like there's nobody out there for me, or these are all the wrong people. I'm never going to meet anybody decent. The Ace of Swords is saying you've got to change the way that you're thinking, because for some of you, there is some type of heavy burden that maybe you're still carrying around with you. Either that, or you're just tired of looking, and maybe you're looking in a very pessimistic way. You have the Knight of Pentacles, which means there's kind of slow progress around, Taurus meeting a new person in the month of July. If there is a slow progress, it's probably because, one, the way that you're thinking, but it can also be that maybe you're just tired of looking. Maybe you're tired, or for others it can be that there is some type of burden that you're carrying around. Again, it could be from a failed relationship or a marriage. You can meet somebody new. You have the Star card. I mean, the Star card does represent hopes and wishes being granted. And this represents, again, this is basically why you're watching this spread. This means that you want to meet somebody new. You want a new connection in the month of July. And this means that your hopes and wishes for that can come true. It's just that you'd have to kind of work around basically all of that. You got to change what you're thinking. You have to be optimistic. You can't be looking and thinking, well, I'm not going to meet anybody, because then it really won't happen. You have a lot of thinking to do. And that's something that has come up in pretty much all the spreads that we've seen. The Four of Swords repeated itself. It was in the first spread. It was in the X spread. It's not here, but this is the same thing basically. This means that you have a lot of thinking to do as far as your love life. But this also is telling you to weigh your options very carefully, which makes me think that for some of you, you could have options. I mean, there could be different people that you're meeting in the month of July, where you need to kind of be picky and weigh your options. Who's the best person for you? You do have the Star here, which can definitely represent the sign of Aquarius for some of you. It could be an Aquarius that you feel connection with. For some of you, it could be picking between people and kind of choosing who's the best partner for me. But for others, you could be holding out, because the Three of Wands represents kind of leaving it for a later date. You feel like there'll be a better opportunity for me. Maybe you're just not connecting with the right person in the month of July. Again, the Three of Wands means that you feel like there'll be a better person, a better opportunity later. Maybe you still have some things to work on here as far as the way that you're thinking. Maybe some of you are tired of looking, or there's a burden that you're carrying around. But keep in mind that you can meet somebody here with a Star card. Your hopes and wishes can be granted, but some of you, maybe you have a lot of thinking to do, but you also, be picky, be choosy as far as who you're going to connect with. Okay, Taurus, this has been your love reading for July 2019. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.